real exposure to it was not 1979. And some of the biggest things that I was responsible for, we did in 1979. We saved the outer dock. They were going to knock it down. And I arrived just about then and said, no, I won't. I was Secretary of the Government. I had cars to stop it. I said, well, I'm going to knock it down. The glass half full. We're going to rebuild it. I created the Urban Development Corporation in London and Liverpool. That was sent out. But why I became so involved in it was 18 months later they set it alight. And I had been personally responsible for Liverpool within the government arrangements. And I felt a personal sense of responsibility for that. So I said to Lady Thatcher, she was there, look, this is not just about yobs on the streets. This is not the Daily Telegraph headline stuff. There's something more worrying here. And I want to take leave of absence, so to speak, leaving a colleague of mine in charge of the DOE. And I want to walk the streets of Liverpool. And I really want to talk to whoever will talk to me and get a feel for it all. And it was that that led to the 18 months of visiting Liverpool every week, because what I discovered, and this is a very important judgment about provincial England, that no one was in charge, that everyone had excuses, everybody had someone else to blame, everyone waited for someone to do something, but no one did it. And I was appalled. Now, I could go on endlessly about what I think has happened to provincial England, but basically over my political lifetime, post-war period, we have hollowed out the provinces of this country. And it has started with the great nationalisation programmes of the 1940s. Same phenomenon, the dramatic overtaxation of the private sector, which prevented anyone accumulating money in order to regenerate the private sector. We gave incentives to the private sector institutions of the city to take over private companies in the provinces and therefore concentrate the decision-making, the head offices, and the phenomenon, the branch offices. The central government had no time for local government. We created the quangos to hollow out the local government. Housing Corporation was an obvious one, the Skills Council is another. You can go on and on about it. We had a phenomenon where the chief executives of the local authorities were earning at the top decile of income in their particular community. £200,000 a year is quite commonplace for the bosses, the chief executives of the local authorities. The leaders, 7 days a week, take the flat, all the responsibility, 30,000, something of that sort. A madness of an arrangement, unlike anything that other advanced economies are doing. So my understanding was born just walking around and listening to everybody says, them, him, her, not me. But of course, what you get is a desert. And so we did begin to develop policies to put that right. You can't rebuild urban renaissance overnight. It takes decades. But what I do believe is that provincial England's day is unrecognized from the provincial England of the early 1980s. There has been a rejuvenation of our great English cities on a scale not equal since Victoria was on the English throne, British throne. So that was a massively exciting experience. I will just end with one last little story, which is about luck, because that is always there. The first thing that I did when I became Secretary of State for the Environment was to say to my permanent secretary, we're going to create an urban development corporation in the East End of London. I have seen 6,000 acres of demolition, no private sector developments and so on. And I'm going to put in basically what was a new town corporation into an urban area. Very interesting Secretary of State. Very brave, very fundamental. Of course, great plugs to the government, which this department is here to support. And anyway, I said, fine, this is what's in it. And this was 1979. Geoffrey Howe was totally opposed to the idea, on the basis that I had no money, to Keith Joseph was totally against the idea on the basis that this is exactly what a new Tory government was not supposed to do. It's called intervention. And so I set off to number 10 one night to meet the three of us and the Prime Minister. And Geoffrey said his thing, Michael's got no money, we're not here to spend money. Keith said, Margaret's very interesting, Michael's imaginative ideas, and of course this is exactly what we've campaigned to stop. And I talked to Reg Prentice, who'd been a Labour MP in the east of London, and asked his advice as to how I should handle this. And so my turn came, and I said, Margaret, gosh, I so sympathise with my elders and betters and all that. I give Geoffrey my word, not a penny will be spent except within the agreed level of my departmental. Peace, I'm completely committed to this new revolution. So admire Keith's intellectual vigour in defending it. My problem, Margaret, is that I've been talking to Reg Prentice, who, as you know, left the Labour Party to join us. And he represented the East End of London. He told me when I spoke to him, he said, you know all those councillors? They're all communists. I won. But the battle, you may say, what's this got to do with it? I went back to my department. Well done, said this thing. A remarkable achievement. We so admire politicians who can go and win battles of this sort. We are greatly privileged to have you as our leader. There is one small problem. You have won the battle to create hybrid legislation. Now, not many of you will know the significance of hybrid legislation, but what it basically means is that you can legislate to deal with people, let's say taxpayers. What you cannot do is to legislate for that headmaster and say he's going to pay special taxes. Because he has a right, any group that is an individual group has a right to then petition Parliament, and it becomes what's known as hybrid legislation. And you can employ lawyers, consultants, accountants, anything you like. The truth is you never get the legislation through. So, having given me this great salute of congratulations for saying, of course, you have hybrid legislation. And what they really meant is, and we know it will be shuffled off into a new government, but long before your legislation gets a statute book. But I said, very well, I understand. Give me general legislation. Where is the second worst site? Compared with London, they said Liverpool. I said, right, designate Liverpool and London. And that's how Liverpool got its urban development proposition in 1979. So it's a great game, if you don't mind. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. As I said at the very beginning, questions are incomparably the best part of the game. Thank you very much.